I'm very confused by everything happening. I think a lot of people are, because it's this insistence from the administration that's so intelligent otherwise on believing that this magical deal with Iran can be made. And I just wonder if you think that something else is going on. I've been asking this question to a lot of our guests lately.
Well, thanks, Rob. It's good to be with you. Look, there's two different things happening, and the viewers need to understand that. One, they're talking about opening the Strait of Hormuz for economic reasons, and the other is the nuclear system, the enriched uranium. And they're connected in a way. If you get one, opening up the strait, you're going to eventually get to the second. But this war was started because of the second, not the first. And we want to get rid of their enriched uranium and eliminate the possibility of them becoming a nuclear power. Because when you have a nuclear power, you treat them a lot differently than a non-nuclear power. So I think the discussions now are not really involving us, meaning we don't have the lead on this. Oman has the lead, and Iran has the lead, and economically opening up. It's going to be interesting what happens that comes out of this. Are they going to basically put tolls in place? And really they shouldn't, because you only get territorial advantages within 12 miles of your coastline, and the strait is bigger than that. But there's precedents to doing this. If you look at the Dardanelles Strait, but that's because Turkey is so close. They do charge tolls going in there, and nobody else does. The Mandeb Strait doesn't, the Malacca Strait doesn't. Once you get involved with this, does this mean the South China Sea is going to have tolls? What are you going to have out there? That's number one.
What's the big...
The second one is we have not talked about the enriched uranium. That's the key. We cannot afford them to become a nuclear power. And President Trump is right. He's the first president that's done anything, but we need to make sure that the second it comes right after the first, and we haven't gotten there yet.
So, I mean, is it try and capitulate as much as you can to get them to denuclearize, and then you reassess? Because if this thing ends now with a deal where they're tolling the Strait of Hormuz, this is not going to look good at all.
Well, you know, I remember seeing the old cartoon when, hey, don't leave us behind. We're in front. We're leading this. I get the feeling we're not leading this right now. The Iranians are leading it. The Omanis are leading it. If you go back to the nuclear issue, we're kind of leading it. We have to make decisions how that looks going into the future. I don't think we're there yet. And we need to kind of establish with the American people where we're at. The longer this goes with American people, they're getting more and more dissatisfied. It's not because we're doing it, I think. I honestly believe it because of the amount of time it's taking. You're working with a really, really hard over theocratic regime. The supreme leader, hard over theocratic. When you look at Arachi, he's a hardcore theocratic. When you look at Pezeshkian, he's kind of what, you know, most people would call him moderate. You know, to me, you know, moderate in Iran happens to be that guy that he goes out to watch the execution of protesters, but he doesn't go to the leaked cocktail party afterwards. But Pezeshkian is part of the mob.
Do you think there's any, I mean, it seemed to me like the administration was trying to make it very clear that they've given this as many possible chances, so that if they do have to do something extreme, and Trump's kind of hinted, you know, at this even today, that they might have to go back in. But it's almost like they want to present it in a way where it's like, look, we tried 50 times and they lied 50 times to be able to justify an extreme move in the future. Does that feel like part of the equation?
Yeah, it does. And I give President Trump full credit for this, and he's trying to have a diplomatic solution. But you reach a point when you said enough is enough, and you don't do it any longer. You know, I will tell you, Rob, back when I was in college, back in the day, you know, one of the things we looked at were the classics. And I remember reading about the Punic Wars between the Romans and the Carthaginians. And remember, Hannibal crossed the Alps. That was Punic War #2. But on the third Punic War, the Romans basically said to the Carthaginians, I'm fed up with you guys. And they went down to Carthage and they burned it to the ground. And I mean, you can go visit the sites of what's left in Tunisia. And they just said, we're done with these guys, we're finishing it off. And you get the feeling we need to do the same thing. They keep stringing us along. And I hate to, this may run into the midterms, but I think this might, but we're going to have to finally make a decision with these guys on the nuclear enriched uranium, and what does it mean into the future. And I'm not sure we're there. Rob, I'll tell you very candidly, I'm just not confident we're there.
It certainly feels like the midterms are part of the equation, too, and that everything's kind of a little bit wonky because you've got this election coming up here in 3 months. I got to leave it there, General. Thanks so much. We appreciate it. Keith Kellogg, good to see you.
Thanks, Rob.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.